Okay, so we were mentioning that even though it's not my custom, there is a custom on many people to wrap their head up like a Yishmaeli, like an Arab. Page 145. And so he's going to explain that according to those who hold this opinion, how do they wrap their talit? It's the second paragraph on 145. Le'ol hamur, based on what I said above. Nira, it appears, sheseder atifat talit, that the way to wrap the talit, yeh be'ofen zeh, will be in this way. You make the blessing of litatef b'tzitzit. Miyad lachar berkat litatef b'tzitzit, immediately after the blessing of litatef b'tzitzit, yitatef b'talit al rosho. You should cover your head with your talit. Ksha'arba kanfot talit yordot keneged panav. When the four corners of the talit are going down towards your face. Shtayim, meaning the front of your body. Shtayim l'tzed yamin v'shtayim l'tzed smol. So you have your two tzitzit on your right and your two tzitzit on the left. Both of them are facing forward. L'achar mikein yuchaz et hatzad ha'yemani shel keneged panav. He should take the right part of the talit, v'yashlich oto la'acharav al ketefo ha'smalit. He should throw it backwards over his left shoulder. You follow? So you have your talit. There's two sides dangling. You throw the right side over your left shoulder. V'tov she'ashekach chedei hiluch arba amot. And it's proper to wait this way for at least walking 4 amot, so a few seconds. Achar kach yichaz hatzad ha'smali. Then you should take the left side. V'yashlichenu gam ken la'achorav al ketefo ha'smalit. And you should throw it over his left shoulder. That way all 4 tzitziot are behind you. You should wait that way for the time it takes, a few seconds. It says 2 seconds to walk 4 amot. And then you should put the talit normally in your body, so that you may have 2 tzitziot in front, meaning the 2 front ones should be in front, and 2 in back, so that he should be completely surrounded by mitzvot.
Did you say you take the right side, throw it on the left shoulder, and then the left side, throw it on the left shoulder?
Yes.
Okay, so all...
Do you want me to show you what it means, or you understand what I'm saying?
I think that would be good.
Okay, so let me get it to you. 1 second. So a person will go like this. Make a bracha, and they'll wrap their body like this. The head on the top, and they have all the tzitziot in front of them. And then they take this part, and they throw it over their shoulder, and wait for 2 seconds. And then this part, and throw it over their shoulder.
Same
They
shoulder.
wait for the left shoulder, and then they take it off, and wear their tzitzit normally, like that. Right?
What's your custom?
My custom, just like this. And then we put it on.
That's how we
As long as we
do
wear
it.
it. But everyone has their own. This one is according to the Mekubalim, so.
So there's really no exact right answer.
There's no right or wrong, just if you want to make the Kabbalists happy, or if you want to make Shulchan Aruch happy. Shulchan Aruch does not mention this idea of the Arab head covering at all. It's mentioned by the Geonim.
It was interesting that in that little blurb about tefillin, Matas Yahu with the Kotel, that so only if I put on the altar Rebbe's tefillin, but is that the main tefillin or the second pair that you put on?
The main tefillin. What it means is those big.
Oh, those big boxes.
Yeah. You want to pause this for a second?
Yeah, look, it's really recording.
And some have the custom. Immediately after you make the blessing, first you wrap your head and your entire body, and then they lift the talit onto the shoulders. And then they they throw the right shoulder over the left shoulder. ונוהגים כן אינם צריכים לשנות מנהגם. And those who have this custom, they don't need to change it. שיש להם על מה שיסמוכו. Because they have on who to rely. וכן מנהג האשכנזים. And this is the way the Ashkenazim do it. וכמה מעדות הספרדים, and some of the Sfaradim. ונהרה, נהרה ופשטה. This means that both opinions are valid. ויש להקפיד, it's important to be strict about this matter. שעטיפה בטלית, that when you wrap yourself with your talit, לא תהיה באופן שיכסה את כל הפנים והעיניים. You shouldn't cover your whole face and your eyes. Because the whole idea is to wrap it up like the Muslims did when they walked and they saw things during the day. אלא עטיפת חיות על הראש וסביב הצוואר והסנטר למטה מפיו. It should be wrapping ourselves around our head, our chin, but not our eyes. והנוהגים לכסות את פניהם ועיניהם בשעת העטיפה. Those who cover their entire face when they wrap their talit, minhag ta'utu biyadam. It's a mistaken custom, ועליהם לשנות מנהג ולנהוג כמו שנתבהר. And they should change their custom and do the way we said, that you shouldn't cover your face.
That's just when you're putting it on, not when you're...
Yes. Very good, yes.
Yeah, that's interesting, because I just look at it, recite the blessing, and then I just put it over my shoulders.
And that's what we do, also. I
don't put it over the head.
You should cover your head in the beginning.
Now, in Birkat Kohanim, of course, you cover the whole head.
That's because we don't want to look at the Kohanim, but not because you have to. Just a custom that we draw. And then it says, V'yesh no'agim, some have a custom, and you'll see this custom by many people, and you know exactly what I'm talking about. V'yesh no'agim, some have a custom, she'enam metatfim b'talit klal, they don't wrap themselves in the talit at all. Ela mashirim et talit krucha al tzavaram. Right, they keep the talit wrapped around their neck, b'shat tefillah. Ever see those people? The scarves. Ve'arba knafot mul pnehem, and all four of the corners are in front of them. Uvmiyuchad matzui minhag zet and nahagim libosh talit shel mesh. He said, especially you'll find this by those who wear silk talitot. Like, he's referring to the neck talits.
You like the conservative.
Yeah. Ve'osim
They're
kem.
not halachically in of themselves, correct?
Right. Ve'osim kem. Those who do this, einam yotzim midei chovad mitzvah tzitzit. They don't even receive a mitzvah of tzitzit. V'arehem mevachim b'chalav v'talan. They're saying God's name in vain. V'yesh la'ir l'musar oznam u'lanicham al pi halacha. You should tell them this in a nice way so that they can go according to the way of halakha. And this is an important thing to know. There are some people who are used to wearing these neck talits. Neck talits are not kosher in and of themselves. And then those, they come to shul, you give them a real size talit, they wear it around their neck because they think that's how you wear a talit. You should go to such a person and put your arm around them and say, listen, it's not the way you're supposed to wear a talit. Talit is two in front, two in back. Now this does touch a sensitive point, because there are some Yemenites who have a custom to wear their talit in a fashion that they wrap their head, their body, and then hold it over their arms. Does Rachel's family do this? Should I show you?
Yeah.
Some Yemenites have this custom. After I fold it, it's so nicely. Go like this. They pray like this.
Which is kind of like
maybe.
a scarf look.
Right? Have you ever seen...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think I've seen that. One second.
This talit's trained to have room for the tefillin.
It's got a thing of...
I don't know if they'll correlate all those pictures.
So, this is obviously different than this, right? This is the neck tali, of course. Now, if you see someone, there are people who come to shul, they wear the Yemenites want to argue that this is different because they cover their body. And I'm leaning towards the fact to say that they're right. It is different. But the proper way to wrap a talit would be to have two in front and two in back. And this perhaps brings me to a different discussion, and as I once had it with you, the Vilna Gaon says that those who have a custom to collect their tzitzit when they say Shema should not bring the back tzitzit forward. This is
Vilna Gaon says this.
What?
If you read like in the Sephardic Siddur, it says bring the four corners together.
Right, it's a new age Sephardic custom. The Ben Ish Chai does say to bring four corners together. Both Rav Vilna Gaon, Chacham Ovadia Yosef, and seemingly Shulchan Aruch, Rabbi Shalom Mashash, the Yemenite custom is not to hold all four, but only to hold the front two. The front two, because we never bring the back tzitzit forwards, because you're supposed to have two tzitzit in the front, and 2 tzitzit in the back. It doesn't mean that this custom is wrong. Many poskim say to bring the 4 corners together. But this is the reason why some people don't bring the back tzitzit forward. I always have someone come over and correct me when I'm in different, you should hold all 4 tzitzit. I just always say, okay, thank you for letting me know. I didn't know that.
I mean, before you say the Shema,
yes.
It says, they're the 4 corners of the...
Right.
I think you said in Shabbat, though, you do all 4.
Depends where I am.
Oh, okay.
When people are looking at me or not. You're right, I did once mention that. I don't believe I do that anymore, though. I've become convinced.
You say 2 all the way.
The other way, 2 all the time, but it does, true. Dan's right. Depends where I am. If I'm in a place where people are looking and I don't want to make a commotion and there's another rabbi there, let's say, so I try not to do anything that would stick out. And you know what they say once? There was a rabbi who told the guy in his shul, "Hey you, I saw you during Shema, you weren't covering your eyes." He said, "Yeah, how did you know?" Well, it's an important day. Sometimes people come and they're always looking to find what did other people do wrong. So let's do maybe one more halakha. Achar shitatev b'tzitzit. Once a person wraps himself in a tzitzit, yesh noagim lomar psukim. Some have the custom to say the psukim. Ma'ikar chazdacha Elohim v'nei adam b'tzei kanafecha chasayim yirvin mideshen betecha v'nachal adecha tashkem. Ki imcha b'kol chayim barucha, page 146. Nira or mishoch chazdacha leodeecha v'tzidkatecha le'yishrei lev. These are all verses from Tehillim. Vizharu shelo lomar psukim elu kodem shivachu brachot haTorah. Says Rabbi David Yosef that a person can say these verses, but you should make sure that you said the blessings in the Torah before you recite verses from the Torah.
Do that again. Recite the verses in the Torah.
You should say the blessings in the Torah before you say these psukim.
Oh.
Because you can't say Torah until you made the blessings in the Torah.
Oh, it's in the morning, bro.
Yes.
Well, why would you put on your tzitzit after?
I guess some people
forgot.
Some people do, or some people they do that and then they say their blessings.
Where they put the talit and then they go all the
blessings, exactly.
I have seen that. Do you do that?
No, I do my blur kodesh always at home. Before you come to shul, I say my brachot. Remember, we mentioned there are 2 people who wrap themselves up like Arabs. There are those who first wrap themselves normally in the talit and then wrap themselves up over their head. And then there are people who know they first wrap their head up and then they wrap their body up. So there are 2 different camps. Those who cover first their whole body and their head and then they just wrap the head. They're allowed to say these verses once they wrap their entire body because they already finished the mitzvah of putting on talit. Very good. But those who first have the custom to wrap their heads up and throw the corners over their shoulders, it's better for them to wait to say these verses once the talit is already down and covering their whole body. Why? Do you get a mitzvah of wearing talit just on your head? No, you have to cover your body. So, mipnei chashash hefsek, because we don't want to make a hefsek between the blessing and the mitzvah, it's better to wait until your body is covered with the talit to say these verses. Uvdiavad, but after the fact, you said these psukim, and then you wrapped your body, you wrapped your head, and before you put it on your body, you don't have to go back and make a blessing. Because in any case, you already began to do the mitzvah. And there's someone who wrote that when you are wrapping yourself up, you should say the following verses. This is the Ben Ish Chai. The Ben Ish Chai wrote a book called Od Yosef Chai. Od Yosef Chai means Yosef still lives. It's a continuation to the book Ben Ish Chai. For many years I've been trying to get my hands on a copy of Od Yosef Chai. And even though it's not rare, it's a very common book. It's very hard to find in bookstores. It's Adonai Tzevot Imanu Mizgavlanu LeYaakov Sela, Adonai Tzevot Shalom Darbach, Adonai Hashem Melech Einu Korenu. These are psukim that most of you know by heart. The Ben Ish Chai says that when we wrap ourselves in talit, many have the custom to say these psukim. Next time we learn these halachot, we're going to talk about covering your head with the talit. You must cover your head with the talit. When do you start covering your head with the talit? Do you do that once you're married? Does a person do that once they become a Talmid Chacham? Does a person never do that? Which parts of tefillah do you cover your head with the talit for? These are subject to many, many, many different customs, but we're going to study all of them and see which ones are correct according to halakha. Where do they come from? Where each one gets its source from. And B'ezrat Hashem, I think we'll leave that enlightened.